We learned about the introduction or theoretical part of XPath, the introduction to XPath, and how do we find XPath, all those things. Now, there were in the XPath, we are left with the last one. What's that? Yeah, we are left with some of the methods that we want to learn. Okay, now let us see those methods. What are there? Some basic methods that what we use in our XPaths. Okay, there are 4 to 5 different methods. One is contains, second one is text. We have already seen the text one. Now we will see contains, and then there are 2 other methods which are called as starts with and ends with. So let's see. This starts with, ends with, contains, text, and then this is dot. This dot is an inside contains only. So we are going to see all these methods of XPath. Okay. Now let us see. HRM. I'm using this example. Anywhere I can use, but I'm just to make it more sense. I'm logging in and then we'll see this. Yeah. Okay. Inspect. Did we discuss this yesterday? PIM is inside a tag. Yeah, I think we did. Controller. If it is not directly inside a tag, it is inside some B tag. We created our own separate tag and we tried, right? So double slash. If I write directly like this, text is equals to PIM. Is it finding it? No, because it is inside B tag. Right? This one we tried yesterday with our own forgot your password link, right? So this is A tag and this is B tag. Here, if I want to find using its text, I cannot find the link, but I'm finding some text called B tag, right? But I want a link. I can perform the operations on the link, not on a B tag. So to perform the operation on a link, I have to find a A. Now see, when I write this XPath, it is finding the element, but it is highlighting the particular B tag. It should be actually highlighting the anchor tag. So in that case, this doesn't work for us. Okay. So what we can do, we can find this and use slash dot dot. This is one way to go to a parent. This we have seen. Right? To go to a parent from child. Then we use slash dot dot. Okay. All right. Now I don't want to go in this way, child to parent, but I want to see some methods of XPath. Okay. Let me see. Yeah. You want a tag, and then I'm going to apply some conditions to that where contains text is equals to PIM. Sorry, it's a method, right? So we have to pass them as parameters. Comma. Now, still, is it able to find? I'll do one thing. If not PIM, let me see for admin. Everything is inside it. Okay, add employees directly inside anchor tag. So I'll use this. You see, is it finding? Contains method. I don't have to give the full text. I can give partial text as well, contains, because I'm using contains, right? If this is present, sorry, if this text, whatever I'm giving here, is present inside an anchor tag, then that's all it will find. Let me show you something. I don't want add, but I want to find the links, or I want to find all the links whose text is having EMP. If I use like this, how many are there? You see, 9 links are present, but where are they? One is employment status. It will be somewhere here. You see employment status. This is still present on the page, right? If it is present on the page, then the HTML will be there. Now employment status EMP is there. It is found. Okay. Now let's go to the second one, which is employee list. And then that is here, employee list. Third one is add employee. Add employee. Inside this EMP is present. See, employee entitlements. Employee entitlements. Here also we have EMP. Right? So like this, it will find all the links which has EMP text. This is similar to partial link text. We have partial link text element locator, right, in Selenium. This is similar to that. Okay. So to find it uniquely, we have to use this add EMP. Okay. So since this text is present directly inside the A tag, I'm able to use contains, and I want to find the text value, right? I'm finding using its text tag. So I'm using a text method inside this contains as one of the parameter. And the second one is the value of this text. What should be the value of this text? Okay. I want this value. This is the value that I want to be a text. So I'm finding it. Okay. But if I want to find a PIM, I'm using PIM. Okay. Let me inspect this. See, am I able to find a PIM using this text is equal text PIM? In contains. In contains also I'm unable to find, because PIM is inside A tag only, but we have a separate tag for the text which is B. So that is the reason when I use /A it is unable to find. But instead of this text, if I remove this text and add a dot here, you see now, is it finding? One of one, and it is finding the anchor tag. So the meaning of this is this dot helps us to search for this text in the self tag as well as the child tags. You want me to show that which is in the self tag? You see, add EMP. This is in the self tag, A tag. Within the A tag, it is have add EMP. It is able to find with a dot. Okay. PIM is present in a sub tag, but still I am able to find this anchor tag element, A tag element, which is having the text PIM with the help of contains dot. That means if we are using contains and use dot inside the contains method, it will help us find the elements or properties which are in this tag directly, or which are inside this section, or which are inside this tag. Okay, child tags as well as the self tag. We will be able to find some properties within the self tag as well as the child tags. Understood? Okay. Since we are trying to find using the text, I am using text or dot. But suppose I want to find some element using its ID. I want to find the ID containing something. Okay. So in that case, but suppose I'm going to the PIM link again. So this is the ID. I'm copying it. I'll paste it inside here. View PIM module. I don't want the complete ID. I'll just use this. View PIM module. Is it? Oh, now, is it able to find this particular element? No. Because this view PIM module is displayed as text. It is the value of an attribute. So if you want to use contains with the value of an attribute, then instead of dot or instead of text. See, both are not working. Instead of dot or instead of text, we have to provide that particular attribute name. What is the attribute name here? ID, right? So this is ID. If I want to mention an attribute, what is the special character that I have to use? Exactly, as right. That's all. Now you see, is it able to find? So if you want to use contains with any attributes, then use at the rate attribute name comma attribute value. If you want to use it with text, you can use directly text. But if the text is inside a child tag, then you have to use dot. Understood? These three techniques. Okay. So now I'll take yeah. You have to show starts with and ends with. I need to have a perfect example. Um, okay. Let me see the properties of this. If you have something, we have them, but everything is in numbers. We do not have complete unique properties. So I'm just searching for some of the elements which I can use for starts with and ends with. Let's see if I find something. No, nothing is in here. So just trying for some example so that I can show you starts with. I mean, in which situation we use this starts with. This is also. Let's just see if I will be able to find something. I think I can use it. Yep. You see here, we have these divisions, but the numbers CTA 0 and CTA 1. You see, the division class is CTA 0 and CTA 1. There are some numbers, right? Button CTA item component, button CTA item component par base is normal text, which is unique. But the class is starting with CT underscore 0 and CT underscore 1 is not unique. These numbers might get changed at any time, right? So now I want to find these elements. So generally we will have some applications or something else. Again, here also it is not there. So I can use this as an example, okay? Or, okay, I'll do one thing. I can use our own HTML file. Instead of searching for it, I can update and I'll show you that as an example. Okay, it's that. Desktop. files used, HTML file, then this is our HTML. I'll open it. Okay, so here I'll use where are our user? Yeah, here is our username element, and here is our password element, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply some ID is equals to, sometimes we'll have these kind of elements, username underscore 123487. Here for password, I'm going to update 87. Okay. Sometimes we'll have the elements like this. We'll have some meaningful text and we'll have some randomly generated number. Okay. And then here, sometimes we'll have the randomly number generated, and at the end, we will have some unique text. So in these cases, how do we find the elements? Now let me open this. Okay. Now let us see the properties of this. You see what is the ID? Uname underscore 123487, some random number. Okay. I can find it directly using its ID value. Okay. Double slash input at the rate ID is equal to 123487. But is this going, this number is not going to be a fixed value. This number is going to change whenever there is a push happens. Whenever there is a small change somewhere else, there is a small change somewhere else happened, and we had a new push, or we refreshed the data, then this number is going to be automatically changed. So if we have all the elements like this, then if you are using this, then you have to update always whenever the change happens, whenever the refresh happens, or whenever the new push happens. You should always come and change this number, which is not possible, right? We are doing automation to reduce the maintenance work. We are doing automation to reduce the turnaround time of testing. But if you are again, when there is a small push or when there is a small change in the application and these numbers get changed, you have to update all the elements in your automation code, which is not acceptable and time consuming. So that is why in these cases, I cannot use the complete attribute. Of course, you can use relative locators, but sometimes if you want to use the direct attribute, but not with the full name, and you don't want to go with the relation with the other elements, or there are no some elements which are in relation to that particular element, then in that case, what should we do? We cannot use it directly because this is having some random text which might get changed, right? So that is the reason we have another method called as input slash starts hyphen with. Okay, this is a method starts with. This method is taking some parameters. So starts with, on the ID, I want to check uname. You see, is it able to find that? Right? So it is checking an element whose attribute ID is starting with the text uname. Okay. Now I'll do one thing just to show you that this username, I'm going to add underscore ext. I added one extra element. I mean extra thing ext. Okay. Now let's go here. Let's refresh it. Now the text got changed. The ID got changed. You see, this is not working. Understood? So starts with, will check for the text which is in the beginning, not in the center. Okay. So I can use txt underscore. You see, now it's finding. This is another method. If you have an attribute which is having a meaningful name along with some random number that is generated, then I don't want to use this random number generated in my scripts, so that I can avoid regular maintenance or frequent maintenance. So in those situations, I can go with starts with. Understood? When do we use starts with? Okay. And then where is the password? It is inside this. Yeah. So this password is having some random number in the beginning and then a PWD at the end. So PWD is fixed, but this number will be changed. So in those, but this is not the beginning, right? This is at the end. So we have another method in XPath, which is ends with. Okay. Ends with @ID, comma, what is the text? PWD. Is it able to find the is it finding the element? All right, we have this method in XPath, but we have similar to all the other applications. XPath is also having some versions, version 1, 2, and 3. We will never know what XPath version they used, but here, if we are using the XPath version less than 2, then ends with will not work because ends with method is added in XPath version greater than 2. Okay, so that is why ends with may or may not work on your applications. Though there is a method called ends with, which is checking the text, which is checking the attributes whose value is ending with PWD, but this will not work because ends with is not available for all the XPaths. Understood? That is what I wrote in my notes as well. Where is that notes? Yeah, here it is. You see, contains we have seen, text we have seen, and dot we have seen, and starts with we have seen. But ends with is not supported for all versions because ends with works only for XPath versions greater than 2.0. Okay, so ends with will not work for us. Okay, so that's all theoretical about the XPath. I have one more critical situation or one more situation where we have to analyze the HTML neatly so that we can understand it. That I'll tell you, but before that, let me show you something related to XPath. Earlier, there were no tutorials. When I started giving sessions, there were no sessions where there was no sites which helps us giving the XPath tutorial. But now only W3 schools was there earlier, but now W3 schools and then tutorials point XPath. We have XPath related to tutorial. I mean, another session on tutorials point, and then we have some more other sites. You see, software testing help is having one thing. Earlier, there was nothing related to the XPath. Only W3 schools was the only thing that helps us to understand what are the methods, what is XPath, and how many things do we have in XPath. But later, we got this tutorials point. Just a second. Yeah, and then we got some other tutorials. You see, and we got something from Oracle as well. Earlier, these all the things were not available for us. Okay. All right. Bobby, I'm unable to make anything what you said.
No, what I say is tutorial point and geeks is a good tutorial.
Yeah, Geeks for Geeks is the best one. But the problem with Geeks for Geeks is, let me show you. The problem with the Geeks for Geeks doesn't have a single article on single topic. There will be multiple resources who work on the same topic, and there will be multiple articles on the same topic. First thing. And second thing is Geeks for Geeks. If we know all the topics, I mean, if you know what to learn, if you know what to get, what to search for a particular topic, then Geeks for Geeks is the best site because it has in-depth explanation of everything. But the problem is for the beginners like you, I mean, now you are beginning to learn XPath, right? This doesn't work because it doesn't have a structured flow. if you search for topic, that particular topic details you will get, but it doesn't have a clear instruction or clear flow of all the topics. But if you go to these W3 schools, you see what is introduction, nodes, syntax, access, operators, and then some examples. So you'll have in an order, you can go line by line from a beginner to some expert. But Geek for Geek, you have, if you want to search for syntax, expert syntax, okay, you will search for expert syntax and you'll get in-depth topic of expert syntax in Geek for Geek. That is the only difference. Okay, for beginners, I won't suggest Geek for Geeks. But if you know something and then you want to learn in depth about it, or if you want to learn more details about it, then go for Geeks for Geeks. Right, Bobby? Am I correct?
On the Tuesday.
Okay, fine. So this is the information about XPath. You see, XPath stands for XML path language, and then XPath is a path-like syntax, and then it contains over 200 built-in functions. We have learned only very basic minimum, bare minimum functions that we want or we regularly use in our Selenium. You see, XPath is containing over 200 built-in functions, and this XPath is a major element in XSLT standard. So that is a standard. Every XSLT standard is given. This XPath uses this standard like guidelines. Okay, and then XPath can be used to navigate through the elements and attributes in an XML document. But we are still using this XPath to navigate over HTML document as well. Okay, and you see XPath is also using W3C recommendation. W3C is what do you say, is an org which is controlling or which is providing guidelines for all the HTML pages. All the HTML pages follows W3C standards. Okay, all right, fine. So you see W3C recommended XPaths. We have 3 different versions. First version is released on 1999, second version is from 2007, third version is from 2014. But still, most of the applications use XPath version 1. So that is the reason when we tried ends with, we are unable to find it. Understood? Ends with works only on version 2 and version 3. But on version 1, ends with doesn't work. So that is the reason you are unable to find it. Okay? Let's go to the notes. This is all some example. What is a tag, and then what is the attribute? What is the attribute value? How do we get text? So these are all the things explaining the XML. Okay. What's happening? A relationship of nodes, parent, children, siblings, ancestors, descendants. We have seen all these things. Okay. Let's go. Syntax.
We don't see descendants, right?
Nothing. And reversal of ancestors is descendants.
Okay.
That's just a relation, right?
Yeah. But I didn't heard that word. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Okay. Ancestors is going to the parents and parents, but descendants.
Yeah.
Generally, we don't use descendants in Selenium. So I might have not used that word, but it's just a reversal of ancestors. Okay, and this is example and giving explanation for the syntax of XPath, node name, and selects from the root node, and then selects from any node, a dot selects the current node, a dot goes to the parent node, at the rate uses attribute. So these all things we have seen, right? The example /bookstore. So first element should be the bookstore, or inside bookstore I want any book. I want to use attribute. So like this, we have some examples. Okay, indexing, and then if we have multiple books, I want the last one, so I'm using the method called last. You see here in bookstore I have 2 books. I don't want the first one. I don't want to use any attribute or any value, but I just want the last book. Then I'm using the method called last -1, and the position is less than 3. So all these things we don't use in our Selenium, because we never use last -1 position. We always use attributes and text present inside it, because we have to find the element uniquely, right? So this syntax we use, and these conditions, why will we use like these conditions? Whose price is greater than 35? We don't apply these conditions on HTML, right? So that's why I did not tell you this. This is also another way. So you can apply some condition on XPath, but this is not useful for us in Selenium. Okay, selecting unknown nodes star. We have seen this wildcard stars, and selecting several paths or condition using or condition. Okay, so this I'm going to tell you now after this theoretical part of showing this. Then access. Right, you see this ancestor or self, and then attribute, child, descendant or self, following sibling, namespace, parent, preceding sibling, self. So these are all the methods which are present inside in XPath. We can use any of these things, but mostly we won't use any descendants, and we won't use child, because if you want to go to a child, what is the simple thing? Use a single slash, right? Single slash will find us all the childs, right? Okay, and this is a syntax to use those access or these methods. Samples here, and then we have some operators in XPath. These things we don't use anyway. These conditions we will never use it. We might use this and or. That's all. Only these two we'll use in our Selenium. Okay, so that's all. So here also it will just give you what methods are there, what XPath you can write, those kind of information, but it will never help you to get the XPath. I mean, for particular element, it doesn't have those kind of things. This tutorial just gives information what are all the available methods inside XPath, but it doesn't give the suggestions or instructions to find an XPath. To find an XPath, all the suggestions and instructions depends on your logical thinking. Okay. All right. There should be one more method called normalize space, but I do not see it here. That's fine. Okay, similar is here. Overview, expressions, nodes, absolute, relative, access, operators, wildcard, and predicate. All the XPath related tutorial is here. Okay, and here as well. XPath operators. We are not using XPath operators. It's okay. Okay. Right. So this is a theoretical part.
What is the pipeline less than or equal greater?
Where is it?
This one. Oh, operators.
This one?
Do the operators also?
Yeah, we can use, but in Selenium we don't use this. XPath supports it, but for Selenium we don't need it. We don't do any this addition or subtraction in the XPath elements.
Oh, okay.
Right. We are using this XPath to find the elements, but not to perform some operations. So that is the reason we don't do these kind of operations. When do we use these operators? When you are dealing with XML files and then you have some data. For example, not here. Here we saw some books, right? Okay, let me see. Yeah, here you see we have a bookstore XML. Now here I have 4 different books. Now I want to know the total cost of all the 4 books. If I want to know the total cost of all the 4 books, then I will find this price and add it to this price for all the other prices. Understood? So in those cases we use those operators. But in Selenium, we are not calculating this. What are we doing? We will get this text. That's all. Understood? In XPath, we are not doing it. In Selenium, we are doing it. Okay? Fine. Right. So now, I'll show you some other example. Where is that file? Okay, here it is. Sample HTML Bobby. Now, okay. So what I'm going to do is on username. See here, I'm going to add some extra spaces for username. Okay, intentionally I'm adding these users extra spaces in the beginning and ending. Okay, Now saved it. I'll refresh it. Now you see here also the spaces will be there. Okay. Control F and then /td. Generally, what we'll do is td text is equals to user name space colon. But is it finding it? You see, it is not finding because the text is not equals to username. There are some empty spaces which are not seen by our eye. We cannot see that, right? You see, normally it is showing like this, but when I double click on it, you will see some extra spaces here. So we cannot see it. We have to copy all these spaces and paste it here. Now, the developer might not have seen this extra spaces, so he left it like that. But later, when he found we used this technique, and when he found there are some extra spaces, and he removed. Nobody, he has to report it to nobody that there are some extra spaces. I removed it. Right? He'll just simply remove it. Then our element location will again fail. Right? Agree? So in that situations, we won't use these spaces. We want to find the element by removing all the spaces in the beginning and ending. Okay. So for that, we have another method, which is normalize hyphen space. And this is also a method. So it is having some braces. And then what I want to check? I want to check the text. I want to normalize the space of a text. What should be the text? Username colon space colon. Did I miss something? /td. Okay, I don't have to mention this. I think, yeah, I don't have to mention the attribute. Why is it? Yes. Normalize space.
Sorry, can you repeat this normalized space? I got lost somewhere.
Okay.
And distracted me.
See, now intentionally what I did is I added some extra spaces to this text. Okay. I added some extra spaces to this text. Now I went to here, I refreshed it. Now I have this. Now I will see this username text. Okay, now I am writing XPath for this /td, and there is a text inside it. So I am applying this text is equals to, in single quotes, I'll say username space colon. But is it finding? This doesn't find it because the text is matching the same text. The same text I entered here, username text, username space colon. But it doesn't find any elements. It still shows 0 of 0 because in the HTML, there are some spaces which are not seen by our naked eye. We cannot see the spaces, right? If there is a text, we will be able to understand, but the spaces we cannot see it. Okay. So in those cases, we use normalized space. And why should we use normalized space? Why can't we use contains or something else? We can use contains as well, but contains sometimes, if suppose if I use contains, there is a chance that username text is present in other place as well. For example, if I use this sample is present in 6 places. If I use contain sample is present in 6 headers, right? So it will return as duplicate element. So I'm not going to use contains, but I want to remove these spaces and check. I don't want to, I'm not going to remove it on the HTML, but while finding the element in the XPath, I'll be removing those spaces. Okay. To remove those spaces in the XPath, we use normalize space. Normalize hyphen space. Normalize space. And then we have, this is a method. You see, it is finding all the 33 elements where we can apply this some text. Okay. Let me search for the syntax of this normalized space. I don't know why it's not working. Normalize hyphen space in X. The purpose of this normalized space is to remove the white spaces. Okay, I gave this. Let us see that. It's ours. Normalize space and string. Okay. All right. Normalize the space and the string. Name space colon. But still it is finding 40 elements. Okay. So text is equals to for it like this. Why is it giving all the 40? It should actually normalize the space of text. Yep, this is the way we have to use. Understood? So normalize space. Which space I want to normalize? I want to normalize the text attribute whose text is username. What is it doing? It is removing the extra spaces of it. Extra spaces. You see, though I did not add the spaces, we have it here. We have it on the username text, but I did not add it here. I'm using normalized space. So what is it doing? It is removing the trail end spaces, which is in the beginning and which is in the end. Now this is for the normal text. But for suppose, if I have the same for any of the attributes, for example, I will use this ID. I'm going to have some extra spaces here. By mistake or intentionally, I added some spaces to this attribute. Now you see here, there are some extra spaces here and here, right? Now let us try to find this element using its ID. Go refresh. Now let's find this element. You see the ID attribute is having some spaces here, right? Now let us try to find this element using its ID. Double slash input @ID is equals to txt underscore uname underscore 1234. See, is it finding it? No, because this ID is having some extra spaces. Now let us copy that and paste it here. You see, if I'm adding those spaces, then it is working, but I'm not sure how many spaces are here. How many spaces are here? I'm not sure. That is ridiculous, right? We cannot use these kind of things. So that is why, to avoid using these extra spaces in our XPaths, what are we doing? We are applying normalize hyphen space on where earlier we used an example to apply normalized space on the text attribute or text value. Now I want to apply on ID. Okay. Then normalize space at the rate of ID is equals to, you see, is it finding? Understood how to use normalized space? Is that clear, Bobby and Yanji?
Yeah. It's like L3, L5.
Yeah, trim. Yeah. L trim and R trim, both applied together.
Oh, both.
Yeah, in that we have spaces in the beginning as well as the ending, right? See here, I added in both the sides, here as well as here. And for username also, I added spaces here as well as here.
What if I want it only website? right side.
It will work. It will work. It will, if there are spaces, extra spaces at any of the ends, it will remove them. Either
No,
the
no, no.
left side or both sides.
This is this on both sides, left and right. But I
Hmm.
don't want it the left one. I want to only the right one.
No, we do not have such kind of things.
Oh, okay.
Normalized space is just removing the extra spaces on the attributes or text, whatever the thing that we mentioned here. Understood? So clear? All right. So these are all the things that we should know about XPath. And now one more small theoretical part, then we will write some program, okay, using XPath. Okay. Now, Redbus. I'll go to Redbus. This is, you know, Redbus, right? Do you know that? Which site? What is the site for?
No.
This is an Indian site where we can buy bus tickets from for different locations. If you want to travel from one location to other location, then this site helps us to book buses. Okay, it gives us bus tickets. You can
Oh.
search, you can find. Yeah, private travels you'll have, right? Not the government buses, but recently they have also added government buses here. Earlier it was only private services. There was no particular site for private services, so Redbus took the opportunity and then created a common site for all the private services so that they can sell their tickets online. That is the intent of this site. Okay, that's none of our topic, but just letting you know what is this site for. Okay, this is the production site. This is not our test site, but just to show you some example on XPath, I'm using this. Okay, now this is a site. We have a profile icon, and I want to click on sign in or sign up, and I want to find this element, close. I want to just close this. I don't want to automate it. I don't want to log in with my credentials. I just want to close it. So now let's find the element for this. Okay, we have icon close, right? Directly. Icon close. Okay. Now Control F. I copy this. Control C. /I. Android. Class is equals to icon close. How many are there now?
One
of
but ID can be only unique, right? Unique, right? It's ID.
Here on the page, I know that there are no close icons. So I'm using this class. This might not be unique.
Oh, that's not the ID class. Okay.
This is icon. I is a custom tag. Okay. You will see these kind of custom tags. There is nothing specific to this. Based on the style, you will see the element here. But that I tag is not creating the cross mark. The class icon close is creating this cross mark at this place. But they want to divide or they want to separate this div from class or this div from the icon. This is a complete section, you see. And then this is the only icon. So if you want to separate like these divisions, then we'll use this. Okay. Or we also have this title close. Okay, I'll do this. I'll use this /def at the rate of title close /I. Now it will be unique, right? Inside this. Okay. All right. Okay, let us keep it aside. Let us keep it aside.
Go back to that.
Just a second. I'll keep it aside. This is the XPath that we created to find the close icon, right? Now, let us go back here and let us try to see whether it is working. Okay. I'll click on it. I'll click on this. Now we have it here. Inspect. Okay. Control F. And then I have stored the XPath that we have written, which worked previously, right? So I'm taking this and then I'll paste it. Now you see how many am I finding? Do you see? It says 2, but really, are there 2 close icons here? No, right?
Oh,
The second one is our icon, but the first one is not ours. Okay, let me do one more trial. Let me do one more trial. Click on this again. I'll click on this. I'll inspect. Okay. Control F, and I'll paste it here. Oh, it's showing 3. So I understood what's happening.
but how come it's only one exit, right?
Okay. Do you want me to make it 1 again? I can.
Oh, you changed it to 3?
No, I'm not changing it. It's showing. I won't be able to change the number here, right? I will be able to find the element. That's all. Okay. I'll click on it.
Oh, okay, it is showing the others also, maybe.
Where are the others? There is nothing, right? Control F.
And how come it is
Control.
showing 3?
You see? Now is it showing 1 of 1? Did I do? Okay. Now I'll make it 2 again. Control F. See how many are there? 2. I can also make it
It's
3.
kind of confusing, Nikhil. I didn't get it what you are trying to say.
No.
Only one exit icon, so only one should be there. How can you are making it 2 or 3?
That's what I'm showing. You have to find what am I doing here to get those 3. If you understand that, then you will understand where you need to check. 3.
Okay,
I
maybe
can
it
make
is
it 4. I can make it 5. Just follow me. Okay, now it is 3. I'll close it. I'm opening. Okay. Yanji left. That's okay. Sign up. Okay. Now this is the 4th time I am opening this pop-up. I closed it and then again I'm opening it. This is the 5th time I'm closing it, and this is the 6th time I'm opening it. Now see, there will be 6 elements there. And how many are there?
so every time you run, it's taking one.
Exactly. Every time I click on the sign in or sign up button, this new window or this HTML content is loading onto the HTML page. But when I click on this close, somebody see, when we are doing some operations, when we are loading this site, okay, when we are loading this site, the HTML content is loaded here, right? All the HTML, whatever we want, is loaded here. Now, this is on your machine, on your browser. When you hit this site, it is returning us the HTML response. That means we have downloaded this HTML response. This is in your machine now, right? This is in your machine. Now, if I click on close, somebody or the application developer or server cannot come to your browser and delete the already downloaded HTML, right? Already downloaded HTML content. They cannot delete it. Agree?
Yeah.
You're getting my point, right? Okay, I'll refresh it. Now the site is loaded fresh. That means I sent a new request to the server, and that is giving me the response. I'll click on this. Now I'll find this XPath. Your voice is completely breaking. I'm unable to make anything. Is it Yanji or Bobby?
I think.
Yeah, now I'm able to hear you, Bobby.
No, not me. Before I think Yanji, starting of Yanji, your voice completely breaking up.
Fine. Now you are able to hear me clearly, right? Was a problem from my side?
No.
Okay. So you see here, when I refreshed the site and clicked on this sign in or sign up, I'm hearing the sound again.
You mean like
What's the problem
it's
with
already
this? I'm sorry, it's already.
Janji, your voice is completely choppy.
She left off. She left off from the meeting. That's okay. Fine. She joined again. Yeah. Okay. So whenever I refresh, okay, we got distracted. Let me open it again. I'm refreshing it. That means I'm sending a new request to the server, that is Redbus server, and that Redbus server is returning me a HTML response. That HTML is rendered and displayed with the styles and color on our browser. That is the purpose of our browser. Whatever the response the server is sending us in the form of HTML pages, those display of those HTML pages or rendering of those HTML pages is taken care by our browser. Okay. Now we have the HTML content received from redbus.in. We received it, and then we have these elements. Now let us see. Let us see the elements. Right click, inspect. Okay. Control F, Control V. How many are there now? 1. So now when it is here, for the first time when I clicked on it, we have 1 of 1. Now I want to close it. I'm clicking on the close icon. Okay, right, I closed it. But now when I clicked on the close icon, can the developer come to my browser and delete that HTML? See, though the HTML is not present here, but you see the icon close is still there.
Yeah.
Right? That means they are doing something. When I click on close, they are not deleting that HTML content. They are just hiding that HTML content.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if I open for the second time, okay, I open for the second time. Now let's go there. Control F, Control V. You see how many are there now? 2, right? This is ours. Second one is ours. Now the first one is also same, but this is not ours. This is hidden. Okay. You understood the concept? You understood the logic, what's happening here?
Yeah. So show ours. What is the difference between ours and the
You
default?
see 2 of 2, this is there. This is our element. You can see here, it is highlighting in blue color. Okay, which is present. Second one is our element. Okay, if I click here 1 of 2, the first one is not our element because this is hidden. Right? Theoretically, we know that it is hidden. It is not deleted, it is just hidden. That is the reason we are seeing the second one. Otherwise, we will see only one, right?
The second one is in blue color.
Yeah, if I click on this, you see the blue color on the cross mark.
We see only yellow color.
No, not here. On
What is
the
it?
on the button, cross mark button, you see that.
Oh, okay, highlighted color. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So you are seeing that blue color and then I dot icon close. Right? So when I go here, it is showing there. And then if I go to 1 of 2 and then go here, I move my mouse cursor here, it is not showing anything there. So that means this is not our element. Okay. This is our element. Right. So now we have to find the difference. What is the difference between this and this? What is the difference between hidden and not hidden? Okay. So this is our element. It has a parent whose class is model class, model close small. Here also it's same. Okay. We have another sibling. We have a sibling for this whose class is model close head. This might be our chance. Now let's see here. But here also it is there. Right. Now let's go to its parent. Model frame. Okay. We are here also it is the same model frame, and then its parent is model POS. Let's come here. Okay, it is also model POS, and then let's see here model scroller. Okay, let's go here. Model scroller, nothing is different. And then we have model BG. Here also model BG. But you see here this div is having model hide, right? Model hide. Now let's see here. What is the div class here? It's just model, right? That means this is visible now and this is hidden now with this. So they are just updating the style from this. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll add this here. Now you see what will happen. Gone? Did I click on close? No, right? I did not click on the close, but I added the style here. Then that got hidden. Now I'll remove it. Now you see, you understood?
Yeah.
See, now 1 of 2 and 2 of 2. Both are representing the same because both are same. I did not hide anything. Understood? So that is the reason you are seeing like this. So in these cases, though your XPath is correct, you wrote, you are getting 1 of 1 when you open for the first time, but when you reload the pages or when you do something, that is gone. It is getting 2, 3, 4 like that, right? Sorry. F12, Control F. So XPath, where is our XPath? Here it is. Control C. Okay. Now here it is 1 out of 1. But the difference is when I click on this close, you see here, this class is getting updated, model hide. So I want to find an element which is not hidden, right? I cannot perform the operation on the hidden element. I can perform the operation only on the visible element. So in these, I mean, in such cases where you will find multiple, so you have to analyze the parental hierarchy. Analyze the parental hierarchy. Okay. And then, so what I have to do, I can add another div here and whose class is just model. That's all. Now you see, is it, how many is it finding? 0 of 0, right? Now copy this. This is the second time I'm opening it. Control F. If I paste it here, how many am I finding? Only 1, right? Understood? Because I am applying this condition where there is a change. Okay, I'll close this. I'm opening for the third time. Okay, again, F12, Control F, Control V. How many is it finding now? Again 1. Right, you see here, just above it we have this model hide. And here also we have it, model hide. That means these two are hidden. So we are writing from its parent where there is a change. Where is it? Unique. You understood the flexibility of XPath? Is that clear? Understood, Bobby and Yanji?
Yes, Nikhil.
So
Yeah,
So
yeah.
can we do,
yeah, go ahead, go ahead. Can we do?
can we do this XPath in any like what you call website, right?
Yeah, you can use on any application. Now this is Redbus. For suppose, give me your favorite site.
I
Which
don't
one?
know, like let's say Facebook.
Okay, Facebook. On any application you can do this. Inspect.
Mm.
You see, we have this class. Yeah, here is the first perfect example. You see, class. If I want to find this element using starts with, see this 55 R1 61 6 LUY. This will be not unique. That will be changed every time. So I can use starts with input text. Understood?
Okay.
So this is one of the example. Now, okay, I want to find this element. I have ID, email, right? So I can copy this, Control F, / input, whose ID is, right, whose ID is email, right? Am I able to find it? You can apply XPath on any of the site. This is not specific to some sites. On any HTML page, you can apply XPath and find the elements. Okay.
How like what's the pattern for? I'm sorry. What's the pattern for finding that that path?
You should listen yesterday's session well.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Yesterday we discussed about those patterns and available things and introduction to XPath. Once you
Okay.
listen to that session, if you have any questions, please let me know.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, we are at 8:15. If you have any questions, we'll discuss those questions. If not, we can write a small program using XPath, and then we can find the we can run it. You have any questions, Bobby, Yanji? Okay, so it's okay. I'll go to the our site RNHRM, and let's write some code using only XPath. Okay. I want to log in and then add an employee, but I want to use only XPaths. Okay. So I'll create a new class here. Selenium C5 is done. Now let's go to C6. New class C6 underscore OHRM add EMP underscore XPath. Okay. Our main method. All right. So here the common things first. We have something right to to maximize until maximize. I'm copying this. Okay. So I'm getting the driver object. I'm going to that particular URL and then maximizing. Now here I want to enter the username. So driver dot find element by dot XPath, because we are going to find it using XPath, right? XPath. So without using the HTML or without seeing the HTML, can you tell me what will be the XPath for this username? We used ID, right? This is ID value. At the rate of ID is equals to this, that's all. And if it is a text box, then what will be the HTML tag? Input, right?
Yeah.
Double slash input, and we are looking at the ID, the rate of ID, and what will be the ID? TXT username. That's all. This one, right? ID. Since we already wrote those things, I wrote it directly, but I can also show it to you. See, go here, F12, then Control F, and then paste it here. You see, is it able to find it? Right. Okay, and then again, I want, okay, here I want to enter the text, right? I found the element dot send keys. On the send keys, what text? Admin. Similarly, I want to send the password. Password text will be admin 123. That's fine, but it's not TXT username. Let's see what is the attribute for it. Okay. Inspect. Now, what is the values we have? ID is TXT password, but now I'm not going to use ID. I want to use name. Okay, so I'll take this TXT password and I'll use name attribute. At the rate name. Okay, and the name is TXT password. That's all. See, you see it? It's one of one. That means it is finding uniquely. That's fine for us. And next, go to login button. Okay, so we used ID name already. Now I want to use value. This is also another attribute, right? So I'm going to use this attribute. This is an attribute, so I have to use at the rate. You see, am I able to find the button using its text? One of one, right? Click on it. Driver dot find element by dot XPath of. Understood? How do we use XPath? Is that clear? Now, after logging in, I want to click on PIM inspect. So this we have learned. If it is in a child tag, then what should we do? We cannot use directly text, right? /a text is equals to PIM. Will it work? No, it's not working. You can see here directly 0 of 0 because it is inside B tag. There are two ways. I can find it like this and use / dot to go to the link. This is one way, or the other way what we discussed. Come on, what did we discuss? How do we find this?
Which one, the B one?
Yeah, no. See, now here I'm finding the text B element and then going to its parent. I don't want to go like that. I want to directly find this A based on this text. What should we do?
Preceding, no. Solid, no. This is simply something.
We use the contains and dot, right? /A, and then inside this I use the contains method. This contains is going to find that particular text presence. But if I use a text, what will happen? It will check only in that particular A tag, but it is not in the A tag. It is in the child tag of A. So that is why I removed text and added dot here. This is one of the special character, right? Which will find that element, which will find this anchor tag if this text PIM is present directly inside A or in a child of A. That's all. You understood? One of one. We found it. Now let's click on it. Driver dot find element dot of this. Dot. Understood? Then again, I want to click on add employee. Driver dot find element by dot XPath, and this will be a click here. Okay, let's see the XPath for add employee now. PIM is clicked. Now let's find add employee. Add employee we have directly under A tag, right? /A text is equals to employee. I can use this, right? Or if I want to apply partial link text, the similar one to partial link text, if I know some partial link of it, then I can use it. So for that, I can use contains, and then instead of this equals to, I'll make it comma. And then make it add EMP, not full one. You see, this is also the other way. Anyway, we can use it. And once we reach here, the task for you is to add the employee. You find these elements using XPath, first name, last name, and then save button, and then add an employee. Okay. Add. I want you to complete this class. Add employee using XPath. Now let me run this and show it to you. Nothing changes, just the way that we identified the elements is changed. You see, it is on add employee page and the execution will be closed. You see, it's done. Now the task for you is to, using XPath, find the elements of first name, last name, and click on save button. Once you clicked on the save button, you know, right? It will be displayed like this. It will be displayed like this. Once it is displayed like this, now go to the first name, last name, get the text from first name and last name, and then verify whether the text that you entered is matching this first name and last name. Okay. Using only XPath, verify the added user FN and LN are same as the here. This is the task file. Will you do it? Bobby in Hindi.
Yeah.
Any questions in today's topic? So in this we are done with XPath. Tomorrow we'll go with, tomorrow means Monday, we'll go with a new topic which is related to the frames. And okay. All right. Have a great sleep. Bye-bye.
Thank you.